by the member for Hotham.
My question is to the Prime Minister. Will the Prime Minister allow his members a free vote on the plebiscite legislation he will put to the Parliament, and will the vote occur before the next election?
Prime Minister has the call. Member for Dobell, cease interjecting.
I thank the honourable member for a question, and I appreciate the keen interest she has in this issue. As the honourable member knows, the government's policy is that the question of whether same-sex marriage will be legalised in Australia will be determined by a vote of all Australians, by a plebiscite, in fact, after the next election. The mechanics for that plebiscite will be the subject of careful consideration by Cabinet and then, of course, consideration by the party room. So we will deal with this in the traditional manner of a traditional Cabinet government. And I thank the honourable member for her interest, and when the government has more to say on the mechanics, we will do so. But I just want to— well,
member for McMahon will cease interjecting.
The member for McMahon just interjected, and I just respond to him and the honourable member who asked the question. The fact is
member for
that
Gellibrand.
If the plebiscite vote is carried, same-sex marriage will be legal in Australia. Now, I understand that honourable members are under some misapprehension. I do not know what paranoid echo chamber they are living in. But let me tell you this: if you imagine that any government, this government or any government, would spend over $150 million consulting every Australian on an issue of this kind and then ignore their decision, then they really are not living in the real world. We will give every single Australian a vote. You won't. That's the difference. Under our approach, every Australian will have the vote. I know the member for Sydney said yesterday that it wasn't democratic to give every Australian a vote. It's good. Well, let me tell you, it's perfectly democratic. That gives everyone their say. That gives everyone— I mean, what sort of latter-day Leninist approach to democracy is it when the people don't get a say?
The member for Hotham is warned.
It's good to hear from the member for Melbourne Ports. It's the first time, Mr Speaker, he's interjected today other than referring to Vladimir Putin, about whom he seems to have a complete obsession. So it's quite clear every Australian will get a vote, and that vote will be respected, and if the vote is carried, it will become law.